Welcome to another video by Pharos Technology. Today we're going to talk about a topic in Microsoft Word that has been challenging over the years for a lot of people, and that's how to deal with graphics. Now, graphics, granted, are not Microsoft Word's strongest suit. It is a word processor. Those that are familiar with desktop publishing and the elegant way that they use graphics in desktop publishers, the ability to wrap your text around it so easily and seamlessly, can tend to be put off by a lot of the challenges and the mechanics that Microsoft Word uses in order to make graphics work. But when you're creating a long set of prose, many times you'll use Microsoft Word, and there will be a few graphics that need to be dealt with along the way. So let's get started. We're going to begin by talking about text wrapping around a rectangle or around other irregular objects. Then we're going to learn how to set the default text wrapping, because frankly, the one that comes out of the box and is set by default is not the one that you'll probably ever use. And then we want to talk about captions. And then we want to take those captions and put it in a table of figures at the beginning of your document. Okay, so let's get started here. Now, text wrapping, I want to show you by going and grabbing a graphic from my hard drive. And when I do, I'll navigate to it and open it, and you'll see that it'll come on the screen, and it's full size. Okay, so being full size, I want to make it a lot smaller than this. And I'll drag it on up and put it in the center of my text up here. Now, I'm going to go ahead and deliberately put it in the center to show you the default way that it wraps is to put it in line, and this is called what they call inline text. So it's in line with your text, is right between those two words, and so the break starts, after some and starts again with data after the end of it. Now, I can wrap the text around, okay, and it goes to the beginning and end and goes right over the graphic. When I move it to the right, it allows me to put it on the border and wrap it just to the left, and then same with the left-hand border, allows me to put it over there and puts it on the left-hand side with the text on the right. Now, the other options for the text wrapping on that same line don't really change much in a rectangle. Now you're seeing also that I can put the text over the top of the graphic, and I can put it also behind the graphic. That might be useful if you had something like a watermark. Okay, so let's scroll on down. I already have an irregular graphic here. And so we're going to take a look, and the irregular graphic is a bunch of pieces of graphics put together in a group. And when I go to this one and I click on text wrapping there, you notice the rectangular one works just like a regular picture. Now, if I choose instead to do one of the other wraps, notice that it wraps around the interior of those irregular objects. Now, this can be useful if you want it that way, but it can be a little bit challenging, but incredibly useful if you do it the way that you need to do it for your particular document. Now, notice that it starts the line on the left and starts the line on the right. Now, if I move it all the way to the right, notice I can't get rid of all the text on the right. The same with the left. If I move it over to the left, I can't get rid of all the text from the indented graphics there. So a lot of times, I'll just go ahead and leave it at the rectangle and post it to the left or right. Okay, so that shows you the basic text wrapping techniques that we can have with both regular and irregular objects. Next thing is setting the default. Now, like I said, I would never put it inline text. I would always probably put it tight, or to the one to the left of it, a little bit looser around the border of it. So what I want to do is go up, highlight the picture, go up to picture format, and over in the arrange dialog box, I've got wrap text. Notice I have set default down there. Now every picture that I add to it will have the wrapping the same way as that first picture. So let's go ahead and insert another picture. I'm going to grab one from this device. I'm going to scroll down and get a caricature of somebody holding a cell phone. And I'll insert that one. And notice it's big like usual, and I'll make it down. Notice how the wrapping is working. If I were to move it to the left, the text would go to the right side there also. Now, adding captions to your pictures is as simple as right-clicking on the picture and scrolling down to insert caption. It puts the cursor right in the text box for giving it a name. So I'm going to give this one a name, Apples and Oranges, and it's going to be figure 1. Now the 1 is a digit that is a formula digit, so it allows it, if I put another picture before it, it would be labeled figure 1 and it would change all the others to figure 2, 3, 4, like it should. So I'm going to insert a caption on figure 2. It's labeled underneath so that people can understand. And I'll go up again and center it. Okay, because I like all my captions centered. So that's captions. Now, what can I do with captions? Well, captions are incredibly useful because you could take all of those captions now and put them in a table of figures. So I can reference all the pictures that I have and be able to go to them anytime I need to. So if I get a better picture later on, I can go ahead and go to my table of figures, go to that picture and replace it if I want to. So it's as simple as going to your References tab and click Insert Table of Figures. It automatically creates it for you. And then when you hold down the Control button, you can then click on the number and it goes straight to the Apples and Oranges one in this particular case. So that's our table of figures. It's that simple to manage and keep track of each of the graphics that you have, even if your document gets to be very, very long. Okay, so let's look at a document that I created on one of my ancestors. George Boehm is a second great-grandfather, and notice I have a picture of the village street in Hartford where he lived, a little newspaper clipping type article. And notice I have the caption underneath it. That allowed me to create the table of figures, and I have the picture inserted in the history. You noticed when you saw the table of figures that there were a good number of them. And this is just a short history of about 20 pages or so. It makes it a whole lot nicer for the reader to be able to see a little bit of what is there. Like, for example, we found pictures of the houses that George lived in along the way during his life. We even found a picture of the factory that he lived in, an older picture because the factory no longer exists. And so we were able to piece together a lot of information, and then the visuals just make it that much more rich. So handling graphics in a long form document really is a lot easier than it used to be, and they're getting better all the time. So I would not shy away from doing your long form documents in a word processor like Word. I would continue writing and inserting the pictures where you need them. So I hope you were able to get something out of this video. If you did, please hit that like button. Let's get it out to others. And if you subscribe, you'll be able to see other videos that we're putting out on a regular basis, and hope to see you again. Thanks. Bye.